My personal mantra is life is tricky, baby. Stay in your magic.
Okay.
That's my personal mantra.
Life is tricky, baby. Stay in your magic.
Stay in your magic. You will always be thrown, curveballs around the way.
Yeah.
So just learn to navigate through all of those challenges and curveballs, and stay in your magic. Don't ever lose that spark and your drive, despite any challenges that you go through.
Okay.
Go!
Good morning. It's like quarter to lunch. It's
Checking.
quarter to lunch. Good morning, guys. My name is Thabani and you know this is a CMO Corner. This is episode 3 of season 2. And I can confess that we've been working around diaries for maybe 2 months.
Wow.
Going around and around.
Putting me on blast.
No, but the good thing, boss lady, is that you've given me your time.
I'm here.
Which attests to how busy you are.
Yeah.
So my guest today is Qhawekazi, Mdikane, a phenomenal marketer, seasoned marketer with over 19 years of experience, has worked across different sectors, and we'll get to it. And normally I post their profile and their bios in the caption when we load these stories, so you can read up all about that because those are the things that we can Google and find out.
Yeah.
I want to chat to her and know all the things that she's done, and hopefully we can learn some lessons there. So, boss lady,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good.
Looking gorgeous.
Thank you.
The nails match the outfit, match the shoes, like...
It was not intentional,
Yeah?
but I do try.
Okay, I'm glad.
It's Women's Month, so I thought let me be pink and represent the ladies.
With our W here.
Yeah, momentum.
I love that campaign, and we'll talk about it.
All right.
So, today, I normally start my conversations with just quick random questions.
Yeah?
And I want you to indulge me.
Okay.
We're just having fun.
All right. Fun.
Then after that, we'll get into all the serious stuff around marketing.
Okay.
But I don't want you to think long and hard. Okay? So
Okay.
the first thing that comes to mind, you go.
Yo, okay. All right. I'll try.
You game?
Good.
Happiness.
Game.
Current book that you're reading.
Whew. The Culture Code.
Okay. Fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction.
Okay. Champagne or wine?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Depends on the day.
Okay.
Bubbles, though.
Bubbles.
Yeah, they make me happy.
Favorite brand?
Favorite brand?
Outside of Momentum.
In what sense?
Like favorite brand, like the brand that's your favorite. Even if it's like a childhood favorite brand.
Kate Spade.
Okay. Your career's biggest success?
My biggest career. Success. For me, legacy that I left on Castle Light,
Okay.
which is, the music experience.
Okay, we'll talk about that. 15 December.
15th December, I got married.
Okay.
Oh my word, how do you know that? Imagine if I hadn't remembered.
I asked myself, is this a good question or could I get Qhawekazi into trouble later? So I'm glad you remembered.
10 years, celebrating 10 years this year.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, your favorite hip-hop song?
Sure.
I know you're a hip-hop head like me. So.
Not really hip hop, but
Okay.
Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Real Love.
Okay.
I'll lose my morals on the dance floor.
We'll sing later. Last one. A motto you live by. What's the motto you live by?
My personal mantra
Yeah.
is life is tricky, baby. Stay in your magic.
Okay.
That's my personal mantra.
Life is tricky, baby. Stay in your magic.
Stay in your magic. You will always be thrown, curveballs around the way.
Yeah.
So just learn to navigate through all of those challenges and curveballs, and stay in your magic. Don't ever lose that spark and your drive, despite any challenges that you go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, now let's talk marketing.
Cool.
The fun is done.
Ooh, all right.
So maybe paint a picture for me
Yeah.
on how you started this journey around marketing. Did you
Yeah.
kiss a lot of frogs that you didn't like and then you ended up in marketing, or you knew this is what you wanted to do?
No, actually, I don't think I knew what I wanted to do. So after I matriculated,
Yeah.
which was in 1997,
Okay.
long time ago. I actually didn't know what I wanted to study post-matric, so I took a gap year.
Okay.
So I went on a cultural exchange program, ended up in New York City. I lived with a Jewish family as their au pair. I looked after their 2-year-old daughter. And while I was there, that's when I really, tried to discover really what I wanted to study. My brother at the time was at UCT, and he was doing social science degree.
Okay.
And later on ended up joining Unilever. So I learned about marketing basically through him, but also while I was in New York, just exploring the city. Being in Times Square, going to all those department stores like Macy's and Broadway's, where like the first 2 floors sometimes is just filled with cosmetics. And for me, I always had this interest and this question of how do all these brands differentiate themselves? And luckily for me, my host mother had studied business at Columbia University, and she said to me, if you really want to understand consumer behavior and why certain people buy certain brands or affiliated to certain brands, you should study marketing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she guided me, and that's really how I ended up coming back to South Africa, going to Varsity College and studying marketing.
Hectic. I think marketing is one of those fields where people don't necessarily understand.
Yeah.
And I think you are so blessed to have someone guide you in that direction. To say, if you want to understand consumer behavior, how people think, all of that, marketing is probably your biggest bet.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, it's traditional, right? It's either you're an accountant, and all the accountants always kill me for this, or you're an engineer, and you're a doctor, and those are the things you should be doing. And marketing is like, those are the pictures people. Like,
yes,
if you want to do the pictures and the events, you go to marketing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we'll touch on your current role and what that looks like in you adding value to the greater business.
Okay.
We'll get to it later. So let's take a couple of steps back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about probably what you can share as your biggest lessons in your previous career. So I'm talking about your time spent at SAB. I know you did a lot of work with Flying Fish. You did some work with Castle Light. Like I mentioned, a lot of people might not know you, but they know your work.
Yeah.
And I want you to speak about your work. I don't want to be the person that speaks about your work.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe take me through some of those lessons and the things that you did, and hopefully how they contributed to the growth of the business or the brand at that time.
Yeah. So I joined South African Breweries back in 2008, March, as an assistant brand manager. And I worked on Miller Genuine Draft.
Okay.
And, some of the most, I think, noticeable campaigns that I worked on were the very popular campaigns at Billy the Bum, where people, even on a Sunday, were having a good time. So I worked on a lot of our key account campaigns, as well as the first Miller Rock the Boat, which landed on my desk and my brand manager at the time as a sponsorship proposal. Wow. This team just basically said, we've got this cruise ship and we want to take people on it. Would you guys come on board? Yeah. And it ended up with us being naming sponsor. And really curating an experience, tapping into different passion points, music being one, comedy being the second one. And for the first time at SAB, we actually decided to use influencers to create awareness around the campaign.
Okay.
So the likes of DJ Fresh, Euphonic, Kaya Dlanga, who was very small at the time, and Trevor Noah.
Hey,
we're all there.
Yeah.
And we just created an amazing 3-day experience on Miller. Okay. I was then promoted to be part of the team that repositioned Castle Light. So I joined Castle Light, and I spent most of my time on Castle Light. And I call that time that period the time of my life. Very challenging brand. But for me, I conceptualized a game-changing and groundbreaking campaign that ended up really telling the brand story through an experience. Yeah. We tapped into music as a passion point. We tapped into hip-hop as a passion point. And we brought, the first season was Drake, very unknown, very small up and coming hip hop artist at the time, to South Africa. And then the second season was bringing Kanye West to the country. And what really made that campaign so groundbreaking was that Castlight at the time was really looking to deepen commitment levels with their consumers. It was built on a functional benefit of extra cold refreshment, but that did not have any meaning or emotional connection with our consumers. It was also competing in an international beer market that was dominated or in a local beer market that was dominated by international beers. And those beers had quite big platforms. If you remember Heineken, with the UEFA Champion League. And it was difficult for Castlight to really break through the clutter. Castlight was also it didn't have any street cred. It was not perceived to be a cool brand at the time. So tapping into hip-hop music, especially hip-hop, which is really such an aspirational sort of genre of music. I mean, if you think of the Kanye West and the Jay-Z's, they're not just hip-hop artists, they're businessmen. So that's why we decided that hip-hop was the right passion point for us. And that's the campaign that really, turned the brand around. 20 million in terms of PR value for Drake, 40 for Kanye West, in terms of sales volume, like double-digit growth in terms of sales volume for just the 3-month campaign period.
Now, tell me, I want you to stop right there. Like, that's a lot of work. Because, couple of confessions.
Yes.
I think the biggest activations done by a brand, and the best, probably, are still the Castlight unlocks.
Okay.
Obviously, COVID messed that up.
Yes.
But from my experience, that's the one thing I always look forward to going to.
Yeah.
So, you did a great job there.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
And for me, spotting the cultural relevance around hip-hop, creating experiential, I think even experiential, I think the blueprint is with Castlight Unlocks. And that's what you started.
Yeah.
Have you sat back and actually said, I did that?
I think last year when we celebrated 10 years of the campaign, and I've obviously left the brand, but I've seen the brand grow from strength to strength. It started off as quite a very intimate experience, where we brought the experience to the actual venue. We turned, the dome into the biggest igloo.
Yes.
We made sure that we brought the extra cold refreshment platform and proposition to life through the actual experience. Even asking, the guests and the consumers who attended Castlight Unlocks to wear white was part of the experience. They felt like they were part of the experience.
Yeah.
They blended in.
Yeah.
So I am very proud of it, and I'm proud that I pushed through. It's a campaign that nearly didn't happen.
Yeah.
It took 9 months to convince the powers that be that this was the right platform.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What does Qhawekazi then do in that moment? Because chances are you have to present it to Exco has to approve it, and it's seemingly risky, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we've never done anything like this before. This is what you're trying to do to break through the clutter. How does Qhawekazi sell this thing in a boardroom?
One of the key insights was actually making sure that I worked closely with the insights department.
Okay.
There was a lady in the insights department, that I worked with just to make sure that we brought the insights that would that would enable us to demonstrate why it was important, or why hip hop was the right or relevant sort of passion point for our target audience. So for me, building the campaign through relevant insights, and bringing those insights to the boardroom to demonstrate the strength of hip hop, to demonstrate what the passion point, why this passion point was a relevant one for our target consumer at the time, was what we did.
Okay, I love that. And that shows what needs to be done when walking to a boardroom. Coming in prepared, one. Having the insights that back what you're proposing.
Yep.
And it's not a Qhawekazi just wants to have an event at the door.
A nice time.
Cool. Yes.
And
there's a reason, and it delivered on results which you spoke about.
Exactly.
So I want us to fast forward a bit, because I've seen your profile, I've seen your CV, I've seen all the amazing things you've done, and I think people should know about it.
Okay.
And I want to speak about the innovation that you introduced while you're still at SAB, which is Flying Fish.
Yes, yes.
Flavored beer. At the
Yes.
time, I don't think flavored beer was a thing.
Yeah.
But
wasn't.
now, Flying Fish is popping. I mean, I'll tell you because I'm still in the streets.
Okay.
Flying Fish is the thing that people love.
Yes.
Maybe talk to me about the innovation or the insights that drove that innovation and what it did for the brand and the business.
So I worked with an incredible team, launching Flying Fish as a brand. And the Flying Fish brand proposition came at a time where, the cider market was really growing in South Africa. What SAB knew, besides that, they've got quite a strong distribution arm and quite a strong sales arm, what we do best is beer. So in order for us to fight, those beer wars and fight and be able to really compete within the cider market, the business decided to create or develop a brand that was a beer that tasted like a cider.
Interesting.
And that's how that innovation came about. And that's all I can say about that for now.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
huge gamble. And
Yeah.
the fact that it's still around in the market speaks volumes already, because
Yes.
they would have discontinued the brand if it was something that didn't work.
Yeah.
But it actually worked.
Yeah, flavored beer. I mean, we launched it in lemon and orange at the time. And it also brought in the female consumers to the beer market. So very, very smart. Very smart.
I love that. And then, boss lady,
Yeah.
one of my favorite campaigns.
Okay, which one?
Let's talk KFC proposal.
Yes.
How did you guys pick that up? Because I think there's a conversation there about just
Yeah.
social media, and
Yes.
probably reputation or brand management reputation.
Yes.
A lot of consumer listening to see what is actually happening around your brand.
Yes.
And then seizing that opportunity and making sure that you make it a big deal.
Yeah,
Like, I can
yeah.
only imagine what that did for KFC.
Yeah.
And you were involved during that time as well.
Yes. I was back from my maternity leave. It was my third day back in the office
Oh,
after
wow.
my maternity leave when we broke the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, my role at KFC was, looking after PR, social media, and activations as a marketing manager. And basically, when I got the job in 2018, the GM at the time said, your job role is to identify unique moments in culture to make the brand famous. That was it. And I did that through sponsorships, the KFC T20 bucket.
Yes.
And then public relations, look after brand reputation, crisis communication, as well as consumer PR, as well as then looking after the social media team. So the beauty about the hashtag KFC proposal, hashtag KFC wedding, is that it happened through active social listening. We were tagged as KFC on a video that was posted on Instagram, and it was by an onlooker who happened to be walking past the KFC in the Vaal when Budhekta was proposing to Sis Nontlantla. And he took a video, posted it on his own profile, and then tagged KFC. We were in the office. It happened in the afternoon around 3 p.m. So called the social media specialist, PR specialist, myself. Let's huddle. Guys, look at this video. It's so cute, but let's do something about it. Let's ask Black Twitter to help us find the couple. Little did we know that then that was what would break the internet.
Yeah.
So asking Black Twitter and taking the video as KFC, we then posted it on Twitter and we said, please help us find this couple. We want to bless them. And honestly, at the time, we were thinking of maybe having a engagement party for them or hosting an engagement party for them. We were not thinking something as big as a wedding, but we're just brainstorming different ideas of how to make this viral moment special for the couple. But we also realized that actually this couple might not even be on Twitter. So let's ask South Africans to identify them and help us find them so that by the time that we meet with them, we'll then have those conversations in terms of what can we do for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you wanted to bless them and give them a bucket of KFC or something.
No, no. We wanted to do something much more. At the time, I think we had just launched our flagship store, which was in Rivonia.
Yes.
And we wanted maybe to have a shoot there, invite some media publications, but we wanted the story to be bigger.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to profile them, to talk to them, to understand why would Hector propose to Sisnonhlanhla at a KFC? What was connecting them to our brand? And yeah, that's really the conversation. And it happened 2 days later, because when we found them, I remember I was driving to the office. It was a Friday morning, and every single radio station was talking about this viral moment. Got to the office, and the social media specialist had said to me, "Qhawe, they're from my hood." Can you imagine? Can you imagine? They're from the hood, my hood, at the Vaal. I've managed to get their number.
Crazy.
We called them immediately, the three of us, and we're like, we're on our way. We introduced ourselves from the KFC brand team. We are on our way. We jumped into my car. We drove to the Vaal. We obviously called ahead to say to the team that was working in the Vaal, we're on our way. Please, can you just set up a beautiful spot for us? And let's talk to the couple. And they were the shyest individuals at the time.
Crazy.
Yeah, but that's how that happened.
Well done, man. And I think the beauty of it is also the brand's willingness to get involved in people's lives.
Yes.
Which
yes.
normally we shy away from. We're like, it's fine. We want something else. We want to do a big event. But you ended up doing something great for them, and kudos for that.
Yes. And South Africa just came together.
Yes.
And especially corporate South Africa.
Yes.
Corporate South Africa loved the story. Serendipity couldn't have worked in our favor.
Yeah.
And I think people love a good love story.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where everyone wanted to support the couple.
Yes.
And support KFC in supporting the couple. And which is why, their lives changed forever. Their lives changed forever.
I won't mention the brand.
Yes.
Right? But in my current company,
yes,
when that whole thing broke through, we also donated cows. Right? Because one of our brands obviously is in the dairy sector, and we work a lot with the cows, etc. So we donated cows for his lobola and all of that, so which was phenomenal, which was an interesting story. So corporates did actually come to play and actually did contribute.
They really did. There are some challenges that we experienced as the brand team, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Let's talk about those challenges.
There were a lot of people, brands included, and also people, influencers, celebrities who promised, who pledged a few things, and people just didn't deliver.
So it was riding on the wave.
Riding on the wave. We literally had to employ a project manager to chase. Firstly, to keep track of all the pledges that were coming through on Twitter. Yeah. And then to chase and follow up with people. I ended up having to go back to the boardroom again to ask the powers that be to support us in terms of financially, to help us to actually have that wedding. Because the pledges that came through and everything that everyone promised was not enough to give them their perfect wedding.
What a story, man. That's like a story in the history books. Like, it's a story that will never go away. Like, it's crazy. Okay, now let's talk about this beautiful brand that has an upside down M right now. Up, it's facing up.
Yes.
In celebration of Women's Month, your current role, the things you guys are working on. So, how has your time at Momentum been as a chief marketing officer? Now you sit in the boardroom. Now you are the one that makes the decision. So when Thabani walks and says, "Boss lady, I'm trying to do X, Y, Z, and I need budget for this," you are the one that says yes, Thabani, or no, Thabani. You're no longer walking in the boardroom talking to Exco to ask for permission. How does that look like? How has that been for you?
Firstly, I want to explain that we belong to the house of Momentum.
Okay.
So we're a branded house.
Okay.
So there is the mother brand.
Yes.
And we've got a group chief marketing officer. Okay. I call a hashtag boss lady, Nontokozo Matonsela. So that is the lady in charge. Okay.
Cool.
I belong to a sub brand of Momentum, and that is Momentum Corporate.
Yes.
We are in the business of selling employee benefits. Okay.
Trickiest thing ever.
Trickiest thing ever. But I report to the exco for Momentum Corporate. So the CEO, Dumombete, is my boss. Dotted line report to Nondokozo Madonsela.
Got
So within my environment, my sub-brand of Momentum Corporate, within the marketing function, yes, I make the decisions.
Yes.
But it's very important because we are a branded house that we tell one coherent story with the mother brand.
Yes.
So how has my time been at Momentum Corporate and Momentum? It has been amazing.
Yeah.
I've been here for just over 18 months. And I said to my mom the other day that I think everything that I've done in my career has prepared me for this role. Because for me, not a single day in the office is the same. I'm very passionate about PR. My first PR award that I won was on Castleite, a Prism Award Gold. For that Drake campaign.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about PR. I mean, through KFC as well. I'm passionate about social media marketing as well. I'm passionate about telling impactful stories, and really, that's what we're trying to do at Momentum Corporate.
Gotcha.
My first 8 months was spent on repositioning Momentum Corporate as a brand. So we developed our brand proposition in a way that will make us really relevant and distinctive and really disrupt the market. We conducted a lot of research, about 3 months worth of research, and really uncovered a lot of things. And insights from the field have told us that when it comes to employee benefits, the ordinary South African, it's got nothing to do with education also. The ordinary South African does not understand employee benefits. The industry is very technical. It's very complicated. The jargon that is used to actually explain employee benefits is also equally as technical and confusing. When you do get that package, when you are offered a job, the only thing that you care about, to be honest, Thabani, when you are sitting with your HR practitioner, is what am I taking home? What am I taking home? Everything else in between. Onandaba. And we need to start having indaba about everything else in between. So we are on a mission to really educate South Africans about employee benefits, because we need to highlight how employee benefits benefit you.
Yes.
We need to make sure that South Africans understand that by saving for their retirement, they are able to retire and keep the same lifestyle that they've had throughout their working life. There are so many other, benefits to just making sure that you've got the right employee benefits package for yourself. And employee benefits are given to the employee by the employer to protect them.
Yes.
Just in case, in the event that something happens. You need to make sure, Thabani, that your kids, if you're a dad, are taken care of, your loved ones are taken care of. And just in case, or should anything happen to you, touch wood, through maybe a disability fund, you're able to be taken care of.
And it's such an important conversation. To your point, it's the employer helping the employee, right?
Yeah.
And you sitting there, you're thinking, laba, they don't want to give me my money. I want more money. So it's an interesting conversation. But you alluded to a strategy that you developed. Let's talk about that strategy.
Sure.
What's the Momentum Corporate strategy from a marketing point of view?
So for us to really stand out in this cluttered market and really disrupt the market, we decided that, or we've identified an opportunity to connect emotionally with our consumers. The way that our competitors, including us in the past, were really communicating who we are and what we stand for, meaning a value proposition, was quite functional, using functional benefits, being the most awarded, really pushing product. But no one understands these products, especially if we're using technical language to explain what they are. So we identified an opportunity to really highlight the role that employees play in the workplace.
Okay.
So we are saying to employers who happen to be our primary target audience as Momentum Corporate, we're saying to them that if you take care of your employees, if you make sure that your employees are covered, you take care of their mental wellness, you protect them, they are more productive.
Yes.
And therefore, if your employees are more productive, your business is going to be more successful.
100%.
So it's really about making sure that we prioritize, our employees. We prioritize them and treat them like humans first, not just numbers on a spreadsheet. And that's really what we're trying to highlight. And we're doing that through financial education by simplifying employee benefits and making sure that it's easy to understand for the ordinary South African. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Like, the simplicity in talking finances is so critical.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think it always goes above our heads.
Yeah.
And we like to nod and pretend like we know, meanwhile we don't know.
Yes.
Now, in the aspect of Momentum Corporate, obviously your primary target audience or your consumers are businesses and corporates.
Yes.
How different is that then from your previous life where you dealt with a Thabani and you're trying to sell product to a Thabani versus now dealing with organizations, whether it is, I won't name people that are not paying us, whether it's another corporate.
Yeah.
What does that look like? What's the mental shift from a marketing practitioner's point of view that you have to have?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen one.
Is it?
But before I joined this company, I've always been told, oh my word, B2B versus B2C.
Yes.
What is marketing? Marketing is all about changing consumer behavior.
Yes.
Right? Yes, our primary target audience or primary target market is those clients or employers of these big corporates. But they are they themselves are customers first. They're
That's
consumers first.
That's true.
So for me, although they are the primary target audience,
True.
they need, or they've become our partners in the journey to demystifying employee benefits.
100%.
So at the end of the day, the person that we're trying to influence, yes, is the partner, being the employer, who ultimately decides which employee benefits solutions provider they're going to choose for their own corporate. But the person that is really going to benefit at the end of the day is the end user, the member.
True.
So B2B to C is what I call it.
Yeah.
And for me, I have worn my B2C hat. I've been in consumer marketing, FMCG for 18 years. It's the first time that I'm in financial services industry. And for me, like I said, because marketing is ultimately about changing consumer behavior, it's really applying the same principles. Marketing is a discipline, guys. Okay? We are not just a cost center. We're a profit center.
You heard that. You heard that. You heard that from the boss lady herself. So as we start winding down, Momentum, I always see everything around Momentum Women's Month. Like it's a thing.
Yeah.
I see it throughout the year, 100%. But Momentum Corporate shows up. Momentum at group level shows up. There's a lot. And I know you guys are actually doing a campaign currently, which is she owns her own success.
She owns her success.
She owns her success.
Yeah. Hashtag she owns her success.
What is that about? And to your point, again, as much as maybe it might sit at a total momentum view at a group level, but obviously you have to speak in one voice from a Momentum Corporate point of view as well.
Yes.
So what is that campaign about, and how does it resonate maybe with you as well, like as a female leader?
You know, before I joined Momentum or Momentum Corporate, for me, how this brand stood out for me was when I saw this actual campaign.
Yep.
I think at the time I was working at KFC and I saw the W, the M flipped to W.
Brilliant.
And, through some of the people that I was following on social media, I saw this campaign come to life. Why this campaign is important to me is I love how Momentum as a brand is supporting women.
Yes.
It's encouraging women to own their success. I think women have been taught to be humble about their success. And I love how this campaign is just encouraging women to speak up, to share their success stories, and to encourage and inspire other women to do the same. I think it's in the power of the collective, where our voices in the boardrooms or in corridors, in corporates, as entrepreneurs, start to be heard. And this is where we really then start to change the status quo of that, we need to be humble about who we are. It's really a celebration of women.
100%.
It's a celebration of women's success, and it's told it's told during Women's Month, which is the month of August. And I think it's a powerful way to just stand out. And it's not, what I love about the campaign is it also identifies men as allies in the empowerment of women, in the empowerment of women telling their stories, encouraging women to really tell their stories. It's not about bashing men or calling ourselves imbokodo. I honestly don't want to be called imbokodo. I'm happy to be a strong woman, but when I need to be fragile, I am fragile. I break. I go through things. But yeah, this is a campaign really that for me really resonates with me. Yeah.
And I love that you say you break and you go through things. The one thing that's ringing in my head is, actually men break and go through things as well.
Yes.
But suddenly it's, women in leadership are too emotional, or they want to break, or the pressure.
You're so right. And for me, I've been encouraged to be vulnerable. And I've shown up in the boardroom, being vulnerable at times, and for me, I'm not embarrassed when that happens, because I'm a human being first.
Yes.
It's all about making sure that people understand that we're human beings first. And for me, showing up as somebody who's vulnerable in the boardroom at times, because we go through so many emotions. And we go through so many things. It might not even be about what's happening in the boardroom at the time that is making you emotional. So I think it's important that we all support each other, men and women,
100%.
and it helps us to manage our mental health.
This is so true.
Men also need to know that it's okay.
It is, eh?
It's okay to cry, Thabani.
Me, I'm that guy. Like,
if you need a hug, we'll hug
cry.
you.
Guys, I need a hug. It's been rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
So as we close off, is there any advice that you think, there's two things I want to know.
Yeah.
Advice for a younger Qhawekazi who's looking at his Qhawekazi on some, angisabaweli, guys, like she's got this thing on lock. I want to walk into boardrooms. I want to be the CMO as well. What would you say to them? Maybe let's start there, and then we'll close off with the last question.
Okay. First thing for me is, don't be afraid to be who you are. There are times when we compare ourselves to somebody who's speaking louder than us, and Tina, we know that we're shy and we're quiet. It's okay. I was very shy and quiet when I was younger, and I remember one of my mentors said to me, "I love how you just get into the office, you put your head down and you get the work done and you just go home. But, learn to speak up a little bit more, because when you do say something, do you realize how many people actually listen? So don't be afraid and compare yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't compare yourself to others. Embrace who you are. Embrace the strengths that you have as an individual. To my younger self, I would say, be proud of yourself. Besides just being proud, be kind to yourself. I think we put ourselves through so much pressure, trying to be the best versions of ourselves. There's a lot that I've achieved in my career that I didn't know would inspire other people until I started talking about my story. So, be kinder to yourself is one. One that I would say is the advice I would give to a younger me.
Okay.
Yeah, be kinder to myself and be proud of myself.
I think as younger marketing practitioners, I can safely say that we're proud of the work that you've done.
Thank you.
I was trying to find an English word, but my bundles are gone.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah. And it makes us happy to see females. It makes us happy to see black ladies do the work that you do.
Thank you. Yes.
So I hope you, your family, and everyone close to you is also proud of the work that you've been doing.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are.
Lastly, what does the future hold for Momentum Corporate? What are we going to be seeing? What's happening?
Sure. We've had the most amazing 18 months through just developing our marketing positioning strategy. The results are in.
Okay.
And we are starting to disrupt the market.
Nice.
We are making inroads at increasing brand visibility and awareness and relevance. People are starting to talk about employee benefits. We have, developed our employee benefits dictionary, which is really solving a category job. So you'll find all the terminology that really defines this technical and complicated jargon about employee benefits in our employee benefits dictionary. We are about to go into a scoping session this coming Friday, just to improve the functionality of the EB dictionary. And there's going to be a whole lot more content. It's going to become a content hub that we're going to be sharing there. And simple things, Thabani, such as, quick win videos that tell you about the importance of saving for your retirement. What do you need to look out for, when you are that student who's going into the workplace for the first time? What are the questions that you need to ask to make sure that, when you do retire, you retire comfortably? There's quite a lot of campaigns that we're working on, but watch the space. You can find us on LinkedIn at Momentum Corporate, and we are going to open 2 more platforms, so Facebook as Momentum Corporate and Twitter as Momentum Corporate.
Nice.
But for us, public relations, being perceived as a thought leader is one of our biggest goals and ambitions. We've got an event that's happening on the 1st of September. It's called Partnership Connect, and watch the space. I would love for you to attend. I'll invite you. But that's one of our events that we really pride ourselves in.
I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come through.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been great. I wish I could keep you longer, but I know you're a busy lady, so maybe I might wait another 2 months before I get her again, guys. But at least I've got the in me now. Unlike you guys, I've got the in now. So thank you very much.
Sure.
This has been very insightful. I hope everyone watching this will find it as valuable as I did. And all the best for Momentum Corporate.
Thank you.
And thanks to your team.
Yes, thanks to my team as well. Love the new team. Yeah, I've been on a recruitment drive.
With only females, I love that.
No, there's not only females.
Well, majority. I'm just saying, I love it. But
you love it.
Yeah, I think it's quite cool.
Yeah,
so,
we've got some gentlemen in the building.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a nice balanced team.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Super.
Thanks for coming through.
Cheers, guys. It's a wrap. Until the next one.